welcome back. So I am happy to have on the show Karen Page, who's the general manager of the Oakville Symphony. I almost said Oakville Arts Council, that would have got us in trouble. And Suzanne Brown, who is a lifelong singer, songwriter, musician. I could go on for I don't know how long. You've done everything from Broadway to the classics, right? So tell us how you got into your. We'll start with you, Suzanne. How did you get into your career as a musician, singer, songwriter?
Music in general?
Yeah. That's the easiest way to say it. You've done so much, which we'll get into.
Well, we go way back. I've just always, my mom was on stage and actually at 17 had her own television show in Georgia, a variety show.
Okay.
And so I've been around music my whole life. So I started very young. Around about 11 years old, I was on television in South Florida.
One of those child stars that we hear about, right?
Yeah, playing the guitar. And, it just kind of went from there. I was in the studio. We lived right by the Bee Gees studio.
Oh.
So I recorded there when I was 13.
Oh, nice.
So that's where it all started, but it never stopped. Then I had a full musical theater scholarship as I grew. And it just so happened that the school that I was at was one of the top 10 schools in all of the United States at that time, but they had a fantastic opera program.
Wow.
So I did both.
Yes.
And and then moved on, and it's life has brought a lot of different venues and different opportunities, and I've loved every one of them.
Yeah. And I've been watching you, and we'll get into your books and all of that. But I just want to, Karen, you're now the general manager of the Oakville Symphony, right? So I'm sure that you cannot, maybe you can, but I don't see anybody being able to go work at a symphony and not having a background in music or something. So what is your background? What did you do? How'd you get into that stuff?
I was fortunate enough to teach high school music for 30 years in Halton.
I knew you'd have a background.
You know what? There are some people out there that do arts administration, and that's where they started, and that's what they studied. For me, it was a natural fit. After teaching for 30 years, a lot of the administrative tasks are similar. But yeah, I was a music major and singer, piano player.
Wow.
And came that way. So that's how I arrived at a friend of mine is plays in the symphony, and he showed me the job, and I thought, what a great post-teaching retirement.
Yeah. And it encompasses pretty well everything that's probably been your background, right? There's youth involvement, there's coordinating music and all of that, right?
Yeah, I like to tell people what to do. Probably have for a long time.
I got 2 wives that like to do that too.
Oh well, yeah, I tried that too. No, I think and being a musician as well helps, right?
Yeah.
Because you understand the situation and you're working with personnel managers and librarians, and so having the music background and being a conductor and having that certainly helps, I think. But I just have so enjoyed it. I'm very fortunate to be working with this amazing
And how long has the Oakville Symphony been around? How long
50 years. Yeah, this is our 50th. We're just coming up to celebrating our 50th year. The mayor's actually going to declare April 14th Symphony Day in Oakville.
Wow.
And we're going to
That's my brother's birthday. You can't do that.
No way. He should come to our stuff. All day with the town of Oakville, all day and night. We're having free activities down at the Oakville Performing Arts Center. And we're just going to celebrate 50 years because we started in '67. It was like 3 flutes, a few strings, and some other instruments meeting at Blakelock.
Wow. Okay, so tell us about your Oakville Symphony youth program, because you guys do a lot of stuff. How does that work?
We're pretty proud of the program. I think that we have a fairly unique situation where we do have some really strong sponsors, like the RBC Foundation and some private donors that basically sponsor our students that qualify to be there and to play with us. And the thing is, we give them a $1,500 bursary, which kind of allows them maybe to play in that orchestra instead of going and working somewhere and having a part-time, or maybe helps with their music lessons or whatever. We have had 3 and 4, and it's just grown and grown. So this year we actually had more people audition that we could have taken than we had spots. So we have 10 again this year, 10 last year. So we're looking at maybe next year in trying to increase our sponsorship and the people that support the program. They also have a chance to get something called the Hollier Award. Kenneth Hollier was the founder of the orchestra. He's passed away now, but his wife is still with us. And so students that not necessarily going to be in the orchestra, maybe they're in university, could possibly get this scholarship, this money as well. And we have something called the Developing Artists Award
Wow.
for younger students.
So you have a lot of programs to get students started or young people started.
I think to keep them on their musical path. The youth symphonies do an amazing job. Like the Halton Youth Symphony has 3 different youth orchestras have 3 different sort of you grow up. You're in this one and then you're in that one. So they do an amazing job. So most of the people that come to us have already had some experience, but I think we also have a mentorship program. So they sit beside a mentor who gets paid to be with them and to give them that experience. We also have couple of amazing instruments, what we call the Hollywood Viola and the Yusuf Warren Foundation, which is a Oakville-based foundation. It's very supportive of us, and kids can play their very special violin that was made in Italy. So we have some opportunities like that.
Good. And Suzanne, you've had a lifelong music career. I would like you to tell us the progression, because you've gone into so many different areas. You were Broadway and classical, and now you're working with kids, and you have books out and all that. So give us an idea of your path. We heard how you got started, with your background, but a lot of people don't go past that point. They get the education or they learn it, but then they stop and they move on to other parts of life. So give us an idea of what your career has gone through, because you've gone through a lot of highs, lows, not even lows, but highs, different avenues, I guess.
Yeah, very, very different ones, and it's interesting because I think, and many of us artists would understand that music is not something that you can leave. If you're, it's something that will always remain with you, regardless of what life brings. And I know within my career path and within my life in music, I have remained open and flexible.
Yeah.
And that's why I've had a lot of opportunities. I mean, I was living in Chicago. My husband at the time was with the Chicago Lyric Opera. And so we did a lot of shows together. I was not with the Chicago Lyric Opera, but we were definitely doing work together. I've worked with children for a really long time, starting back in Chicago when we were there. And I was using classical music in the classroom with children to show the different emotions that you have. And we would play games and draw pictures and to see what would come out with the different composers. And then when I moved back to Florida, I was coaching children on singing. So that has always remained a part of what I do. But more recently, I had sort of a change of life experience, and it put me 100% back into music. I started working with the company Ukulele Kids, and I had been doing Susie Sunshine in daycare centers for like a year before that. But I noticed when I was there, because I also did parent-taught classes for a while, but my mission changed. There was something about providing music to children regardless of socioeconomic factors. And so my heart found that working in daycare centers to do that left nobody without.
Right.
And my program, it includes classical music, but really the design is for children to be exposed at a very young age to all styles of music. So we cover everything from classical to jazz. I mean, we do pieces in 5/4. Sure. Musicians will know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but I'm not a musician. I'm a visual artist, so that's okay.
Wheels in the Bus and 7/8, so have fun with that.
I know that one.
Yeah, so we have fun with it, but that's the whole point. Play to learn is very, very important. And that's what we do in the program. And so that's sort of become what I've been doing. I do other things as well, of course.
Right.
And it's grown. It has unfolded. And now, I am starting to work with local symphonies to bring the children, because once they're finished with the Susie Sunshine program, they're like 4. So then I could say, okay, so what do you want to do? And it's funny because a lot of my children love the violin. A lot of them love the ukulele. A lot of them love dancing or singing. And so I can just say, okay, well, let's push you this way, or what would you like to do over here? But they've got the basic foundation of music, because we know as music teachers, 0 to 3, or any kind of teaching, 0 to 3 is when their minds are expanding, and that's when you want to introduce in a very, like I say, joy-filled way, a joy-filled beginning way, to turn them on. And it's funny because when you said the name of your you know, the name of your program is Inspiring Youth. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to
Well, you're
inspire
certainly doing
children
that.
so that, you know, they want to learn more. And we're getting some real positive feedback